Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hell. I'm Robin at Andrew Jack without a C, and we are once again back with Silent Hill 4 The Room on our third playthrough. That's pretty cool. So, hi, how are y'all? I myself am doing. Yes, I am doing. And I'm kind of excited to get back into this because, hoo boy, we got some places to go. So, first, we need to drop off a couple of items. Flicks the lights on and off. Welcome to hell! Welcome to hell! So, as a fun little, like, start, I'm doing too real. I exist. I am in existence. And that's good enough for now. So, hello, Aleph. Hello, Judge. Um, I have been practicing for the next upcoming funny little guide to Wednesdays. I've been playing a lot of SNES Star Fox, and oh boy, that game gets hard. Did you know? Did you know that Star Fox is hard? I guess I could talk a little bit about it because I gotta fill up the quiet somehow. Star Fox is kind of interesting because unlike later games, you don't get your course changed via your actions in game the way Star Fox 64 does. Instead, you choose your course at the beginning of your run. So you have level 1, 2, and 3. They call it levels, but they're frickin' courses. And I can successfully, to a certain extent, beat the game on all 3 courses, which is not easy. Well, yeah, they had to make games hard those days because of coin. Oh wait, I mean, hey, also rentals. It's actually not a terribly difficult game, but what's going to be really fun is once we get into it, I think we're going to put it up to a vote which course should I do. And it's not going to be it's going to be an interesting experience. So I hope people are looking forward to it. I'm going to be practicing again late tonight. I'm kind of exclusively focusing on course 3 because if I can do that, I can probably handle the other courses as well. Alright, so we're going to just keep moving, and we need to go southwest, which is this way. It's actually kind of funny, like, I grew up in the heyday of rental periods. And I'm not gonna lie, like, the struggle is real, and there are still 2 games to this day that bother me that I couldn't beat in time, and that was Final Fantasy IX and Digimon World 2. Digimon World 2 is especially harmful because, like, I got to the final dungeon, and I was grinding in the middle of a night and was too tired to finish the game, and it was a school night. And my mom knew I was doing that. She absolutely knew. And I did it anyway. You can tell on me for that. I don't mind. She'll find out. She already knew. Alright. So now we're done with that. We need to run over to Jasper and give him some chocolate milk. The Final Fantasy IX story is that I tried 3 times to beat that game on different rental periods, and I either lost my memory card or my save got corrupted at the end of that play period each time. And I only beat Final Fantasy IX for the first time like last year when the remaster came out. And I was underwhelmed by it. I think I built it up so hard that there was no way it was going to be satisfying, but I still beat it, and that's really all that matters. But it was kind of funny, like, I kept working on that game for so long. And nearly 15 years later, 20? 20. Oh my god. Many years later, I finally beat it, and it was like, it was alright. Not my favorite. Hi, cat. Favorite Final Fantasies are always going to be a point of contention, but Final Fantasy VIII is my favorite, so I can't really... I know I have no horse in this race. I will go to bat for that game. Alright, so now that we've got that, we need to... Like, we are hauling ass right now. We are going to make this happen. Need to grab this key, and we need to move right into here. In 5 minutes, we're already halfway through Forest World, and I would say beyond that. Yeah, 8 is great, but it gets a bad rap for, I think, pretty legitimate reason. It has one of the ugliest UI in the series by far. The junction system is not attractive or appealing. Let's grab this. But the best thing I can say, your favorite Final Fantasy is the first one you played. See, that's kind of funny, because that's kind of true. But for me, that wasn't the case. 7 was, it was either 6 or 7 that was my first. But the problem is that I didn't care about Final Fantasy until 8. I beat 7, and it was like, I really like this. It's not my favorite, because I had played Chrono Trigger around that point. So Chrono Trigger is technically my favorite Final Fantasy. But 8 was the first one that like I really worked to try and get. And I spent like that's the game I walked uphill both ways in the snow in order to get, and I fell in love with that game. And I could not begin to tell you why. Yeah, Chrono Trigger was one of the 2 games that made me think about games in a much more expansive way. That and Metal Gear Solid. Those were my big hit games where I was already playing countless games. But those 2 showed me what was possible in narrative and design, and made me like go, I should consider thinking about games in a more impactful way. First game I played was Tactics Advance, which is a really good one. I feel like a lot of people overlook that one. Digimon World 2 was probably a slug. But I was a big fan of Digimon World 1, which I also did not beat and did not intend to beat because I have no idea how to approach that game. 2 just got me right. I don't know why. And I think I actually have it on my PS3 as like a digital download. Yeah, I've mentioned it before. I went to a game design program at my college. It was arts and technology was the umbrella term. And I pointed to the ensemble approach to Chrono Trigger and the meta narrative and Psychomantis sequences as like the reasons why I wanted to make games. Yeah. Digimon World is a very interesting franchise because even more so than Final Fantasy, Digimon World was like, this could be whatever we want it to be. Digimon World 1 lets you control a guy with 1 monster. And you could develop them up, you could like play with them, you could give them part-time jobs and play part-time jobs, including running a market. And then 2 was, here's a JRPG. Which was, by the way, very solid. Hey, Mom. Don't know how much of it would hold up for me nowadays, but I did like reading about how you could break the early game wide open by taking advantage of thief abilities. Ooh. Yeah,
Special news.
Tactics Advance was kind of like kids' first Ivalice. A very, like, potent story that, like, I think had, like, some really good heavy ramifications and would go on to influence stuff like Final Fantasy XII in really interesting ways. But ultimately was just a very interesting and fun game that I think just did a lot of stuff right. And then A2 happened, and nobody really talks about A2. Except for my friend Chris, who adored it for how breakable it was. Alright, so now we're in Water Prison World within like 11 minutes, so we're doing okay.
This is the one I get hung up on. This is the one where I, like, mess up the most.
A2 eventually gave way to 2B, and you gotta sort of understand why the latter got more attention. I mean, you're the one who said it. That's a good joke. Okay, we can't help him, so goodbye. I'm gonna grab this memo. And I think we are going to go to the basement, where we are going to climb down the ladder. And down this other ladder. Which I wasn't making use of last time because I keep forgetting they're there. The ladders in this area are just kind of confusing for me. They're not actually confusing, but I have trouble wrapping my head around the fact that this place has depth. Like, we are constantly traveling downstairs in this area. And for some reason, it just doesn't read that way. Just because these steps are so shallow. You could roller skate down this with enough skill. Let's see. Can't get in there. And now I think we are going to head all the way up with enough skill and also some tetanus shots near to hand. Oh boy. Yeah. What do you think? You know, I gotta wonder. I have yet to perceive Silent Hill as a place that's like, in the context of 1, 2, 3, and 4, something that is presently livable and actively inhabited. And with the way Silent Hill works, you could easily go, oh, yeah, there are people there. We just don't go to the dimension or the reality in which they exist and can be perceived. And so I gotta ask, how's the real estate there? Do you think it's good? Do you think they got something good going on? Okay, and now we are going to, I think, the second door? Or we want to pick up a memo. Yes! They see us, but we don't see them. That's a popular belief, actually. And I don't think it's the case. I mean, it's supposed to be a resort town. So you'd probably get some great deals in the off season. They look like good lease terms to you? God. That's a good bit. A last resort town. Hey! Hot damn. This is why I like the chat. Y'all got bits. I like the bits. Okay, whoa! Hey, buddy! Get the hell away from me. Okay, and now we're picking up some more memos. We're doing pretty well. Let's take a quick swerve around. Go up. We're going to pick up another memo right here. And we are going to, let's see, turn this 4 times. 1. Oh, come on. X. There we go. 2. Just remember, kids, if a stranger says they want to see your bits, say, kinda cringe, bro, and dab on them. 3. That is generally how I handle strangers by this point. Just dab and throw yourself into a lake. Works for every situation. Then we get the memo that the code that we need for later is 0302. The first time we'll release DeSalvo. And now we're going to go all the way back down. Just like our apartment. Handy. Yeah, right? It's clever. I like it when it's clever. Alright. Now we're going to grab this ladder. Oh! So, some fun facts. The East series is getting some new stuff. More games are coming to the Switch, like the Ark of Napishtim, which is or is it Oath of Felghana? I get Ark of Napishtim and Oath of Felghana confused, but they're both really good, and one of them's coming to Switch. And East 10 got announced. Now, I've done a playthrough of East 9, Monstrum Nox, and eventually I'm going to play those games on stream. All of them, because I freaking love that series, but I also want people to play them. And East 10 kind of seems like the Wind Waker of the franchise, which I'm really excited about. They're freaking boats. And it seems like a silly thing to be excited about, but it's genuinely very cool. Alright, so we got the plate, which means we are at the tail end of Water Prison World, 0302. There we go. East on a boat? On a boat. Yeah, one of the interesting things about East that I like to sell people on is that it's a lot of the non-fantastical world that takes place on the planet, because East is kind of a magical place, is that it's based on a lot of Western and Northern Europe, but includes like various locations like Lemuria and Atlantis, and is genuinely just like a lot of fun. And now we're about to get into Norway. We are actually going to be hanging out with the late era Nordic folk of the 1700s. And like the fantasy world interpretation of that. And that shit excites me. I don't really know why. I don't know why that excites me so much. It just kind of does. Anyway, so maybe I've talked enough about East for the moment, even though I will never be done. Then we hear the echoes of terrible things. Listen, I'll keep talking Ys. It's still one of my favorite RPG franchises out there. And it will never stop being until they just bungle it up completely. Which, by this point, I have to assume can happen. But it's great. It's just like, it's one of the best RPG series because you don't have to play them in order at all. In fact, even the numbered entries are not in order. And you just get to enjoy, like, these sorts of weird adventures that go on that all kind of weirdly intertwine, and you get these little tidbits that help escalate the affection you have for it. It's great. It's like, I love it. And every time I get somebody onto Ys, they're like, okay, I guess I love Ys now because they just threw a Hall & Oates reference in here for no reason. Because the early games are really interestingly translated with a lot of little Easter eggs. I don't have the brain for an action RPG at the moment, but I'm excited to try when I'm in such a mood because of how hype you get. I get really hype. It's good shit. And eventually I'll be able to show that to people. Especially because the first two games are the ones that I really want to play for people on account of how difficult they can be to get into. The bump system is kind of strange. They get easier to deal with as they get better and better at creating these experiences, but the early ones, I can understand people not getting into them. Ys 1 and 2, classic RPG stuff. Classic PC Engine RPG stuff. And then we have all sorts of screaming, which you'll love to see. Sometimes you gotta make an adult Robin costume, which I will gladly do. Okay, so let's get off Ys for a second. What's everybody playing? Any new things or anything that you're excited about coming out? Because we just got the Crisis Core remaster, Crisis Core Reunion, and I love and hate that game so much, and we're going to start it tonight. So I'm really excited about that. I think I've got some indie games I've been meaning to play, like, I'm kind of interested in trying the Arena Boy. I'm trying to get into it. It's not quite my jam yet, but who knows? Ooh, hello. Close to finishing River City Girls 2. Hell yes. Feel I might do a New Game Plus. I'm actually playing 2 runs of that, one on my own and one with Lark, so I kind of feel that. Mummy Demake. Yeah, Mummy Demastered is fantastic. It's a little bit dry in places, but the gameplay, really solid. Ooh. Yeah, it's the best looking model you've done so far, Judge. That's like clean paint. Super Lesbian Animal RPG is coming out tomorrow, and shame on you, Automod, for trying to moderate that. Shame. For shame. Tomorrow, gosh. I need to get that. Scarlet Hollow, I need to play. I need something to kill time until Ishin. Yeah, God. Like a Dragon Ishin is looking fantastic. I have not been more excited for a remake in a long time. We're still doing great, oddly. So we've got... I think we now had to head back up. We don't mess around here, not until we move around in, I think, the second pass. Yeah, Super Lesbian Animal RPG is an actual game being made. It looks really cute. It is what it says on the tin. You play as a collection of super lesbian animals. Ooh, Chicory. Another game I need to play. Gosh. Chicory and Toem, which kind of occupy the same slot in my brain, of which I have copies of both. I'm just going to read that as Slarpg. And I feel like that's in the spirit of the humor of the game. Wow, it's a lot of monkeys. But it's fine. Alright, so I think the elevator... Nope. Second one. And that's going to send us down. By the lady what runs the Thanks Ken Penders Tumblr going through all the Archie Sonic comics. I forget about that. That's so good. I love that. Okay, I forget where we have to go here. Now we've taken all this stuff down. I think we got to go past these guys. Franken made James Stephanie Sterling's Top Games of 2022. Yes! Franken is great, and it's free, and you should absolutely go play it. It's adorable. It's fun. Like, it's legitimately really fun. And you only need about an hour to get into it. An hour, maybe an hour and a half. So I would strongly recommend, if you have some spare time over the week, to just play something random and silly, Franken. I think Kat was one of the people who recommended it to me in my suggestions box, which anytime anybody suggests anything, I make note of it. I add it to my Steam wishlist. I go and find it. So if you throw something in there, I'm probably going to play it. Which I did with Franken, and it's really good. Yeah, then I played it specifically because of you, and I am very grateful. It was a fun little experience. Let's see. So we're now at the bar. We're going to pick up the memo. Also, is Commander Sterling now just like going by like fully James Stephanie Sterling? Because if that's the case, that's fantastic, and I love that. That's like some non-binary madness right there, and I love it. We need more queer-led violence on gender happening. Well, if the information is up to date and correct, that's awesome. Commander is their wrestling persona. That's so good. I still love calling them Commander, you know? Then again, I love the idea of a wrestler doing game reviews in general. So, dope. Alright, so I think we're about to finish off our third world in just under 30 minutes. Hello, Lindsay, and yes. It's kind of funny, the more leftist I've become over the past, like, 10 years, the more I realize I actually really like Commander Sterling's stuff. Like, it just works out really well. Alright, so we've done that. We've got one more world before the back half of the game starts. And I'm feeling pretty good about getting through this by today. I don't know if it's going to be possible. What if?
121 on his head. It's just like that case from 10 years ago. Yeah, that
Drop
Walter
through here
Sullivan
and
case.
into.
But Sullivan's dead.
They do good work, and I appreciate how passionate they are about not giving bullshit a single inch. Yeah, we need people to do that, especially people who have that kind of attention to detail, that kind of attention in the spotlight to do that. I madly respect it. If I could bottle up the experience of seeing the heights of potential they have reached after coming out, I would spray that feeling in every turf's eyeballs. That's just really good. Okay, I forgot. We need to go to 301. 301. I made this mistake last time. We've done really good at sanding down a lot of our playthrough before. But now we need to be extra cautious. Yes. Hey, give me that. Thank you. Okay, so we've got a couple of keys now. Got another memo. And I think there's a memo in the living room, which I am struggling to navigate, and a red paper. Hello, ma'am. And we are just going to haul ass away from her. With that, we can deposit the red slip under our door. Yes, you can. There. We need to get all the way to the first floor. We're going to ignore Walter because he's a jerk. Because this playthrough, we are going to say goodbye to Eileen and hello to a nice clean apartment. So first up, we need to hit 105. The superintendent's key, and then, let's see. There's the umbilical cord, which we are not grabbing yet. Even though he does kind of mention it by this point. Got, I think, no, not another memo, but something else entirely. Oh, and the apartment keys. With that, we can start hauling more ass. Think there is something here? Yes, a diary. Big crud, I forgot my keys energy there. Gosh. I have that specific anxiety all the time. Lark can attest. There are countless times where I stop after walking away from my car and just go, did I lock the door? I could lock it 3 times and I will still be like, I gotta go check to make sure I locked the door. It's so frustrating. Okay. Let's stomp on a bunch of worms. Yeah, the only reason why I don't do that with my own front door now is because I kind of am no longer actively responsible for it. It's like one of those tasks that is now being handed off to somebody else. And so I have to let myself just kind of trust, yeah, this is going to happen and I don't have to worry about it. And it's like, it's such a weird feeling to, I don't know, hand off that task when you have anxiety. But when you finally do and you have that trust, it's like, oh my god. That's like 1 less pound of stress that I have to deal with on any given day. pretty good with my keys, but I also have sets for my parents' apartments, and occasionally I go visit them and forget those. And it feels like a debuff. No escape. Unable to leave on your own. Yeah. It's very frustrating. Okay, so we got Eileen knocking on the door. And then we are going to room 301 and heading off. Get out, Eileen. Come on, you're coming with me. We'll die if you don't enter my big hole. Okay, so I don't think we need to drop anything off, but we do need to pick up. Oh, we do have something to pick up. We got to get the doll key eventually. So now we get to just mash X for 5 different notes. Speaking of turfs, I've been seeing a lot of discourse about like the Hogwarts Legacy game that's coming out. And gosh, that is something I would love to tear into at some point, because I want a fun little wizard game. I really do. And I wish most of them weren't attached to licenses that are kind of buried into some weird hell, you know? Just kind of stinks. I think out of everything, that's like my one big complaint. Like, I have a lot of other complaints too. But gosh, I like the studio for the most part. They have some people on it that just seems like, We wouldn't be here if the Little Witch Academia game had been good. Was it actually bad? For what I could tell, it seemed kind of, let's say, uninteresting. It was one that, like, Platinum is very hit or miss with licensed titles. Owl House game! Heard it was a 6 out of 10. Fair. But yeah, it's like, I think Chucklefish is doing a Stardew Valley-esque wizard game at some point, if they're not just going all in on the Chocolatier game, which could also be good. Ikenfell, yeah! I've heard good things about Ikenfell, big time. Let's see. So now we've got 3DS was still going an Owl House game where you inscribe the runes on the lower screen would be hot fire. I think there actually is a game on the 3DS or the DS that does that. And boy, I would love that. I think some people complained about that being a thing, but with the right license, you could absolutely get away with something like that. Okay, so let's put the scary monster here. Let's see. Then we have watchfulness. Yeah, it was in some of the DS Castlevanias. I can't remember the names of them because I get all of the Castlevanias mixed up. as soon as they hit the Game Boy Advance. Except for Curse of the Moon, because I love that one, even though it's technically one of the worst Metroidvania ones. And I'm just imagining what an Animorphs game could be like with today's tech. It could still happen. Somebody could just... That's a license that deserves somebody just going, yeah, let's do this. Let's make this happen. I believe when I last played, this was one of the memos I did not get. So we're grabbing this. And this cutscene we didn't see. Deserves better than a couple of weird computer games and a GBA Pokemon clone. Hey, 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 hey. There was also a bad PlayStation 1 beat 'em up. Wasn't very good. I liked it. It wasn't very good. Okay. So, we are now going into the random hallway. So we need to keep track of which one has what we're looking for. Door 1. Door 2 is a failure. God, bloody roar. Ugh. Just fucking give me bloody roar. In a time where fighting games are as popular as they've ever been. Okay, I want to grab this. This is door 3. Oh, hi there. Hello, meat nurse. Okay, I've already lost count. I think that was 5. Ow. Let's say this is 6. I'm so bad at keeping count on stream. I don't know why. As soon as, like, there is any effort to catalog what the hell I'm doing. The Animorphs toys were sold under the Transformers umbrella, so why not make the Animorphs fighting game be under the Bloody Roar umbrella? Which also means Bloody Roar would be a Transformers game. That's... I hate how much I love that. Okay, that's the glue room. And so now we are checking... Okay, number 10 is locked. Oh, and... Sonic Fox will be all over a goddamn Bloody Roar. God. We could make it happen, people. Okay, let's go ahead and grab these bullets. I said grab these bullets. Why would you default that to no? I kind of understand why, but come on. This is yet another conversation I've been having today. Talking about like it got me on a train of thought about like somebody was talking about like, okay, wait, big head. I gotta say hi. Okay, I think that was 6. Ouch. Somebody was asking on GameFAQs, because I can't tear myself away from it, if changing out the cast in Tekken 3 was something that was controversial. Because Kazuya Mishima was no longer the face of the franchise. It was Jin Kazama, the son of Kazuya and Jun. And it kind of made me realize that there's a lot of stuff. Ooh, can we hold it? There's a chance we'll have to drop some stuff, but holy cow, did we check out every single room? Yep, so now we get to go all the way to the end. And I started thinking about it because, like, Tekken did not start becoming the fighting game franchise where everybody comes back until way late. So Kazuya would eventually come back. They would constantly try to reinvent the franchise. They would keep doing all these things. But for a while, the only time you would see a lot of these older characters come back was for Tekken Tag Tournament 1 and 2. And then the Tekken games just became the new Tekken Tag Tournament. Gon will never come back unless unless Namco is willing to pay for the rights again. Okay, so what am I doing now? We've gotten all this. I think we are heading into the second room. We are not bothering with the purse. Eileen, gosh. Okay, come on. Ma'am, I am trying to help you. Yeah, Tekken 3 was like incredibly well received and very played in the places I hung out. I was a Hwoarang main. Like, once I got that character, it was over for me. I even got a decent win streak at some arcades in Tekken Tag Tournament because of Hwoarang. Hwoarang and Jin, terrifying combo. But, yeah, I kind of sat there and realized, like, okay, we don't have Tekken Tag Tournament anymore because it's not financially viable. You can't really make these kinds of spin-off fighting games anymore. Which really sucks. Like, one of the things that I really liked about a lot of fighting games, or about, like, peak fighting game, hi Malik, peak fighting game culture was the fact that there were so goddamn many fighting games. So many. And I always kind of hoped that, you know, we would see the return of some of these. Like, we never got Tekken versus Street Fighter, right? That never happened, even though we got a teaser. It was kind of quietly canceled, as far as we're aware. Because it came at the around the time that these kinds of games were just getting prohibitively expensive to develop and just put out and then leave on the shelf and not update. And so it became a lot harder to, like, justify some of these, like, smaller games. Like, I don't imagine Konami is ever going to make a Bloody Roar, for not least of which because, like, Konami hasn't been in active development for so long that it's very unlikely, and Bloody Roar is not the franchise that they're going to go for. And it makes me a little sad because, like, we have to kind of rely on indies to make those kinds of fighting games for us. So if you're a developer out there and you really want to make a fighting game, make a new Bloody Roar. Please. Just give this to me, personally. Give me Bloody Roar. I would love it. It would be really great. It's this ugly combination of the games getting more expensive to devs and the fan base shrinking for years. Yeah, and so you have to rely on, like, the big hitters. There's not really room for a brand new fighting game with brand new characters in the way that they're kind of used to be. I mean, heck, somebody like Arika tried to bring back Street Fighter EX with EX Layer. When was the last time you heard about that game? Like, the fact that indie devs are now capable of grander ambitions is definitely good. But, hoo boy. Okay, it's burpee time. Still, my favorite thing in this game. This is the funniest Silent Hill by far. Just for this stuff. Why do they burp? I will never know.
Getting tired.
Remember that as far as fully 3D fighters go, they're all either dead or on life support except Tekken. Yeah, like, Dead or Alive isn't active, and it's probably going to get rebooted. Virtua Fighter has not seen a new entry since 5 on, like, the frickin' PS3 and Xbox 360, and we've gotten updates, but nothing else. Let's see. Mortal Kombat abandoned 3D almost entirely. What else? Soul Calibur. That's the closest that is still alive. Didn't DOA Beach Volleyball 2 kill DOA? I don't think so. I think what killed Dead or Alive was 5. I think Extreme Beach Volleyball was one of those series that, like, everybody just kind of quietly accepted as an inevitability and was like, we don't have to acknowledge this exists. Or if you were like me and my roommate, you were like, this is a completely separate franchise that we're going to love on because we have no taste and we love garbage, and also we love the idea of having all these girls interact with each other in friendly ways. And it may be the best we'll ever get, but... Okay, so we're in Subway World, which... Okay, so it's time to haul some ass. Yeah, I think Judge has it right. That DOA 6 kind of continuing those problems. Specifically, the DLC. Like, that was the one that was the real killer, because the gameplay, rock solid. The story modes, some of the better ones that came out of fighting games. And, like, I'm not joking. Like, 5 and 6 actively tried to move the plot forward, which I think is great. But so much of those games was there to sell DLC.
Still alive.
And for me, that kills my interest. Like, I love costumes, but any other Dead or Alive would have just given you those as in-game unlocks, and they doubled down on it so hard and made like multiple $99 costume packs for one game. And it was agonizing as a fan because, like, the costumes are part of the appeal of those games post to Dead or Alive 1. It's kind of funny going back to the original advertisements for Dead or Alive 1, which contained very little sex appeal and was just treated as like a very straightforward fighter that happened to have like boob physics. It was a solid fighter. I genuinely enjoyed it, but it wasn't a TNA game in the strictest terms at the time. It's just a game with TNA. And then the series became what it is now, which is this kind of embarrassing thing. Like, it's... Yeah, DOA 5 at least gave you like 15 costumes to unlock, and 6 has some unlockables, but they're way less and way more annoying to get. Yeah, it's like they were hidden by rankings and challenge missions or something. I forget. And while it's not my main appeal, if I keep seeing when I open up the game, like, here's a costume you can get if you buy the DLC, I just kind of turn off. It's like, I don't want to know when I load up my game what I don't own. That's always been my kicker. It's why I don't like battle passes. It's why I don't like a lot of inclusion of different DLC. And like this is all soapbox stuff. I'm still like working through all this as I'm doing it, and I'm making good time. Okay, so yeah, Dead or Alive. I hope it gets rebooted, and I hope it gets good. Oh, there was actually a way to get it without it breaking the bank? That's interesting, actually. I like that. Okay, so now we have to head down this way. Give me the garbage.mp3. I just really appreciate that. I don't think I unlocked that door. Huh. Is that what I need to do? No, what I need to do is get in the frickin' subway. I want Mila and Marissa SF6 to be friends. God, Marissa. Just big, burly bastard. Voiced by Allegra Clark. I love it. It's so good. Okay, so do I remember correctly? Let's see. Yeah, I have. That one's by Marin. It's very good. Allegra Clark is very much like the spokesperson in the VA world for bisexual disaster. And I'm pretty sure that was well appreciated by her. Let's see. Now we need to go up and we need to enter the portal. Yeah. Allegra Clark has some amazing features. I actually started following her back in her cosplay days because she cosplayed Isabella and she was impeccable. And then she moved into voice acting with Dragon Age Inquisition was her breakout role. I think she might have done some other stuff before that, but that was the first time I was like, oh shit, the big name fan of Dragon Age. Oh yeah, I knew. And she would like very rarely pipe in. I just always thought that was really cool. And okay, is it the kitchen sink? Yes. Like I've had some talks with her since then. She's like genuinely a very cool person. I was there for a while. I left a little while back for, I think, political reasons? You can call it leftist infighting, and that's probably what it was. Yeah. Anyway, it's not meant to be a name drop, it's just a fact of the matter that I've talked with her before and can attest that she's good people. Okay, so now that we're doing this, we need to go to the escalator where we are going to be bashing some wall people in. Yeah, Discord has some really good people in there. I think there are times where you like the community, but you don't really like the way things get talked about sometimes. One day, yeah. I think I just need some time away. I think the, like, how to put it? Twitter kind of working its way out the door has kind of put a highlight on how I really need to not be on social media without damn good reason. Like the community, but don't really like the way things get talked about sometimes. Yeah, it just kind of happens, because I think when you have a whole bunch of different kinds of people all commenting on things that aren't necessarily in their lane, even though it's like that kind of spot where people kind of expect it, it's like sometimes people say some things that just kind of make you go, I don't want to be in an argument with this person anymore. And I'm not naming names because I don't think it matters. I think this is just like one of those things where it just kind of happens. And that's kind of the funny thing about communities, is that like you can have beef with the way somebody has talked about a thing and not actually take it too personally. And you don't need to like build this huge grandstanding moment of like, you're a bad person because you've argued in this way. You can just sometimes be like, this is a subject that's going to come up more often. And it's going to involve the same sorts of people. And you know what? I don't want to personally involve myself in it. It's like, it's fine. There's no real, like, point of contention with that. And I've left a few communities like that, which, like, kind of all... Honestly, that is the most amicably I've ever left one, ever left a community. It was like, this isn't for me right now. I can't do this. Whereas other times I've just been like, y'all are haters. There have been some communities that I've just been like, no, y'all are bastards and I don't like you. And I don't want to be around you. And I'm not going to shit talk you. I'll say nice things behind your back because I'm not the kind of person that likes to shit talk behind people's backs. But I don't necessarily need to, like, be around it. That's kind of the lame thing about communities, is that you'll run into situations like that all the time. And you just gotta bounce out, because you're not the audience, you're not the demographic for the way they talk about things. Yeah, it's all fair and fine, and there's no malice, there's no desire to, like, crap on people. Just like Judge says, the vibes ain't right. Learning when and how to leave is extremely important. Big time. I think that's kind of the skill that we... Sometimes you want to see a pool ball spinning on a rotating surface. It's just, sometimes... I think that's a skill that a lot of people could benefit from that we kind of lost in social media. Like, whomst amongst us, specifically this crowd, whomst amongst us haven't, like, spent a little too long on oh gosh, I never used a coin on... Okay, that's one way I have messed this up. Whom amongst us haven't spent too long on Tumblr and gotten a little too into, you know, activism, that you start getting your head up your own ass about it. Okay, we can't do it that way. We'll just have to go back the way we came for a second. Okay, so that's one way I can cut down my time, is by remembering to use the frickin' coin. Like, I know for a lot of my effort on Tumblr, I got into a lot of activism to a certain extent, and it taught me to argue with people about, like, serious things. Hi, Knickerbob. But there were a lot of times where I really needed to just get away from those situations. I had a stupid take about Kanari that Gator responded to on Tumblr. I'm sure that went well. I like David Gator. Sometimes he says some things I don't like. That I think are unfortunate. Murder scene key, that's what we need! Yes, okay, so we did that. It was a relatively minor fix. Yeah, like, I got into that, and learning how to kind of back away was something I really needed to do. Like, and I had to keep relearning the skill over and over, because I think when it comes to any communal relationship, you get caught up in the idea of like, but this is where I belong. They made me feel like I belonged, and therefore I need to do this, right? And every time you find out afterwards, like, I could have left sooner. I could have left before this got so out of hand that I started having, like, really negative feelings and complexes about it. And I think even at the time, people were, like, warning others, like, don't get so involved that you do this. And like, a lot of us ignore that. I remember being like, uh-oh, at the time. Right? Because you're kind of like, that's the great thing about social media, is that you get to be held accountable for your behavior to the creators that you, let's say, engage with. I was about to say, take a swing at. And I think the other lesson that I learned from social media is to never tag anybody and never go name searching. Never do it. If you have a take, leave the person the take is about completely out of it. Because if they go name searching, it's their fault by that point. But if you tag them, it's your fault. It's your problem. And there's a nuance to that where it's like, if you do something bad enough, then we can start talking about, oh yeah, this is actually fine to be a jerk about it. But also, don't go looking for that. Don't go looking for that opportunity, please. Anyway. We've all had a lot of fun here on twitch.tv/Anderjack. Oh yeah, that was definitely like they tried to like create lore around the Qunari because they didn't have anything for Sten, which was always like one of the strangest justifications. Like they could have just been like, they weren't there at the time. Like, this was the only one that was there because their society is pretty reclusive, and you could just leave it at that. I think that's what they did with Final Fantasy XIV. They were like, oh yeah, the bunny girls are gender locked. And everybody was like, but why? So later they were like, the bunny girls are no longer gender locked. Because we realized that that's silly. Mom, I'm just going to assume that you just greeted Lindsay by just yelling her username. I think that's a good feeling. Okay, so we're just stopping by here to like drop off some stuff and see if we can place some well-aimed holy candles. Because this is the part where we really need to pay attention and start clearing stuff out. But I'm not seeing enough to really worry about it. We have one clock and we have one thing in the kitchen. Bunny boys are very good. I need people to understand this. Sometimes you just want hot boys with bunny ears, you know? Because anime boys hit different. I'm always saying this. My sexuality continues to be more and more confused the more I watch anime. And it will continue to be that way forever. Once had Jorge Gutierrez once like a meme I used to respond to his tweet. The only reason you should interact with famous people on social media. Getting noticed by Senpai for appropriate meme usage. Yeah. That is my favorite thing. Anime boys hit different. Like Kipo. I get that joke. Hold on, let me look this up. Yeah, okay, that's pretty funny. Speaking of memes. Okay, so now that we're here and we know how this works, we're going to grab this torch and we are going to haul ass because I think we can get this ending. We can get ending 3. Okay. I think Walter is going to show up any second now. I once got noticed by Senpai so hard that he sent me an inked sketch. That's pretty awesome. I've had a couple of instances like that here and there. I'm currently, like, doing a small job for... that was very much a Senpai noticed me sort of thing. When are you going to play Choo Choo Charles? Oh boy. I need to try that. The idea of a game where you're running away from a killer train is just too appealing. Choo Choo Tuesday! Yes! Very good. I really don't want to. The game scares me. It looks very panic-inducing, you know? And yet... If I ever became that kind of streamer, where I just start going after all sorts of weird horror games, I think I just get too frustrated by them sometimes. But I need to do it. I need to do it. Tuesday, pronounced like an old British man. It's Tuesday, isn't it? It probably is up my alley, unfortunately. I think that's why I am so resistant to the idea, because I know that the idea is too silly to pass up. It's bad, it has a strong opening, and it kind of starts falling apart in funny ways. That unfortunately is exactly my jam. I hate that. I hate that that's how I am. Oh yes, we're starting to get some more things happening. I'm gonna let it build up a little bit. Is there anything we can deposit? Holy candle. Holy candle. You light it up, the ghost will leave. Oh, what's becoming of me? Yarders4, don't you dare meddle with my daughter, like to tweet of mine too. I only needed to get noticed by senpais 8 more times to get a free sub. I love that. I want a punch card for that. Start my Markiplier era. As soon as I start holding my breath to force people to subscribe to PewDiePie, I think that's when I'll start my Markiplier era. Oh my gosh, I forgot to do something. We need to go back because we need to dip our stick in oil. Just not bothering with phrasing anymore. This is just how we're doing it. Okay, so there are so far 3 instances where I'm still not quite... I don't have things sanded down quite enough. which is really unfortunate. We're also probably going to die pretty soon, so we're going to get a continue. Okay, there we go. Still living off the time where tokusatsu producer Shigenori Takadera liked some thoughts I had on a thing he worked on in the early 2000s and followed me. I think he pays attention to me gabbing on in English, but goddamn. Yeah, that's always kind of nice. Not gonna lie. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we are going to haul as much ass as humanly possible, leaving behind Eileen. So we're going to head southeast. Get away from me. Get away from me. Get away from me. Get away from me. The hole. Ow. What is this? Is this healing item? Yes. We're going to use that right away. We're going to keep running, and we are going to do our best to just stay on the move. Whoop. What's that? Silver bullet. Not going to be exceptionally handy, but we're going to use it. I think I saw something off to the side. Okay, we've got the left leg. Right, those things. And now we're going to just haul ass back. Okay, so I have made it through a vast majority of this game. And some of these areas are pretty quick if you know what you're doing, so I've got a good feeling about this run. And if we can do it that fast, if we can get done by 8 o'clock, I think I might be able to take our 4th playthrough down to a single stream, like in entirety. Let's see, we've got enough inventory space so we can keep moving. I'm probably going to use any healing items I come across. We need to make sure that Eileen isn't coming with us, which so far it looks like no, I only hear one set of footprints. Once pitched a comic idea on Twitter as a goof. That an author I admired responds sincerely to. To my eternal regret, it fell through because I was still fully undiagnosed and untreated for brain junk at the time. Yeah, that's how that sometimes goes, which is really unfortunate. But, oh boy. That's always encouraging, like when somebody you look up to just goes, that's a great idea and I think you should pursue it. It's like, oh. Alright, so now we're in the factory area. Another healing item, which we're going to pick up and use right away. I'm still trying to figure out like a good, like I mentioned this before, I scaled back my output on drawing, on streaming, on a lot of things because it was like a good idea for me. I needed to take time off. And I've been trying to think of ways of getting myself back into it, and there's a part of me that's just like, why don't I just stream during the day making a comic? Just from scratch, everybody gets to watch me figure this shit out in real time. Because there are people who like to stream their game design stuff. They're programming. They're writing. And it seems like a potentially neat idea. Because I think a lot of people just don't really get into the nitty-gritty of making stuff. They don't really know how it works to get super messy. Yeah, it would quite literally be like, oh, let's figure out how to do this from scratch. I don't know how good an idea that would be, but I'm very interested in the concept. I know I'm planning on coming back to streaming with streaming art with like during the day streams at around like 3 p.m. my time. Just because it's like, oh, this is a nice and easy time where I know I'm not going to be doing anything aside from this. Might be nice. And if it goes half as well as these streams do, maybe I'll actually make something. Say, having made plenty of things, just take chances, make mistakes, and get messy. Okay, so we're gonna just dump parts all over this guy. With little pop sounds each time. Then we're gonna haul ass around. We're going to once again leave Eileen where she is. I don't think she's being harmed. And if she is, oh well. That's not really our focus here. In fact, we are leaving here so that she will get harmed more. Which seems mean, but I assure you that that's the point. Okay, so now we have the right leg, and we're going to continue on, even though we have everything we need. I find that finding new and strange ways to do a thing you're already doing tends to help a lot with keeping yourself in that headspace. That's kind of what I'm banking on. Because, like, I'm not incredibly happy with my lack of output. And at the same time, I don't really need to shame myself for it. I don't need to put myself in that position where I'm just constantly beating myself up over a thing that, frankly, I don't owe anyone. And learning how to, like, reclaim that and make it something that's, like, kind of fun to share instead of this secretive thing that maybe I'll get off the ground and maybe I won't. Like, yeah, I think it's time to reevaluate that sort of thing. Okay, so we tore ass through that whole thing, and we're about to do Water Prison World. Hello, Eileen. How you doing? Seem to be doing fine. You're not dead. I don't even know if you can die yet. Not until the end, anyway. Then we're going down the stairs. We are reading the 21 Sacraments. Using the crested medallion, walking on through, and going down the steps once again. Yeah, that's kind of the future of the channel as I see it. I'm still doing regular streaming, and I would like to bring back some shows like... Heard there was a secret chord that David played that pleased the Lord, but you don't really care about music, do you? She could definitely get messed up. I think if you damage her enough, she'll start, like, bleeding and doing baby talk constantly. Like, anytime she speaks up, it's just nothing but, like, infantile behavior.
Please, don't leave me alone.
I'm not leaving you alone. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Come on. There you are. Okay, so we are hopping into the elevator. Just sitting on the Leonard Cohen reference, enjoying it, just politely and quietly. It was a good bit. I liked it. Let's see. What's my inventory looking like right now? It's not great. So let's move past Eileen, dump some stuff off, and see how possessed, how messed up our apartment is looking right now. Because if it's not doing great, maybe we can start planting some candles. We have one on hand, so seems like a good time. I think we'll start seeing, no, this room is still doing okay. So we're not at the point where it gets real bad. Yes, this is great. We want this. We want to drop this here. And we still only have one thing here, but... Alright, that got rid of everything. I'm going to check the fridge here in a second. Check this memo. So we've got the one ghost there, but we don't have anything else, as far as I can tell. So I don't want to use a holy candle yet. I'd like to avoid that. Let's deposit this and the bullet. We still haven't saved. Save for at the end of our last playthrough. Okay, now when we come out of this elevator shaft, we're going to see Walter just right in front of us, aiming a frickin' gun at us. So we need to just run past him. And there we go. Now we're going to wait for her to make the run all the way around. We're going to hold up our axe just so we can like take care of any bugs that might pop up. So how's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing well. There she is. And thankfully we can drop her off here in a second. 1, 2, 3, 4. She can't join us because jumping down a hole is deadly, and for some reason Henry is the only one who can do it. Henry and James, they can jump down holes. They're fine. Anyone else dies. Now, we probably could have waited to go to the portal. In fact, that probably would have been a better idea. If we have a couple slots, then I think we don't need to worry about that next time. That's one way we can kind of clean up our movement through this. Another healing item, which I'm just going to go ahead and take. Took some painkillers and stuff though. Yeah, my back's been kind of doing the same thing, so I get you. It's 30s, man. Like I just it sucks. You get to a certain point where you're just like, okay, so I'm just going, like, pain is just going to be a normal thing that I experience now. Hole jumping. One of the design ethos points that they put on the character design board. Must design a guy who can survive a big tall jump. No, you had it right. All of those are correct. Every single one of them. Ooh. I think we got a couple of things in there now. It's almost time for another holy candle. Okay, so we only need one of these. And we need to go to the washroom. Heck yes. And I think we're going to speed up a small part of the process by grabbing a silver bullet for DeSalvo, the one guy in this game who I would like to use a silver bullet on. Most other ghosts are, like, fine. But DeSalvo is like, ooh, do we have a Sword of Obedience on hand? I don't think we do. Shoot, that's another thing I need to remember. Gosh, heck, and darn. I'm just constantly making mental notes for every single thing we do. Like, so far, we've done pretty well. Like, all of the things that hung us up in our last playthrough, we've largely sanded down, and we've come up with some new things that have tripped me up, but for the most part, it's like, we're doing fine. Total BS how difficult it is to find older movies on DVD nowadays. Yeah, agree. I want my Muppet Christmas Carol, dang it. Yeah, like, a lot of physical media is kind of becoming hard to snag. During the huge and currently apparently ongoing issues with Warner Brothers, like, there are a lot of shows from Cartoon Network and HBO Max that never got physical releases. They were streaming only, and now they're just completely removed, like Infinity Train. Like, it's such a pain to have to deal with that. Alright, so now we are heading back to pick up Eileen. You can't keep charging money for physical media. Yeah, it's purely profit focused. People buy it and they just have it forever. And like the model of creating new like updates and additions of movies is probably just less profitable than just making a streaming service because there's no physical distribution. And so they're cutting out an entire market that could still exist. And it's not like physical media lasts forever, which is, you know, unfortunate, but whatever. But, like, that's, at the end of the day, it's like what it's really all about. It's just cutting out how many people they gotta pay to sell a thing. And just constantly doing that until it gets to the point where it's like they're not selling a product anymore. They are selling access, selling a lease on a product. That's kind of why I've like been really upset about like the old 3DS and DS eShops closing down. That's why I've been upset with PSN closing and making less accessible their various shops for PlayStation 3 and Vita. Because like, what
Don't go too far ahead.
what can people do to play these things? Does it matter to you? Is archival not a thing for you? And I know that in my ideal universe, we would just have like vault access in these subscription formats. That we would just get all of these things and it would be fine. So glad I got that OKKO DVD I did. Yeah. Okay, so DeSalvo's coming up. Yeah. Like, Comixology going through its whole kerfuffle because every digital marketplace has gone through some weird bullshit thing. Now I can't download them anymore. Yeah. It's like such a bummer. Okay. Then we're going to do this. And we're just going to leave it in him because screw it. He doesn't deserve our attention. He doesn't deserve to get back up. I don't know why. I don't actually know if he's a bad guy or not, but I pay my fucking money to get access to a comic on the Comixology site. And once that goes away, you're just kind of done. Yeah. That's kind of the reality of a lot of digital media. Like, even Steam, which is a service I generally like, even though it's been very developer prohibitive in a lot of ways. It's still a thing that's like, I own way too many games on there. And they could go away overnight. Like, my access to a lot of the digital media that I have could go away if somebody unplugs something. And that's a scary thought. Like, genuinely, like, kind of terrifying, and it sucks. It's like, I love the convenience, but I've always felt like that one brief model that physical comics had for a little bit, for a very short amount of time, was that if you bought a comic, if you bought a physical comic, you got a digital key to that comic. That's a great idea. Because then you could focus on collecting and, like, having all sorts of, like, ways of holding on to things. Yeah, the fact that Gabe Newell is not as bad as he could be is kind of nice. Like, Valve is still prohibitive in some ways. But I don't get the feeling that it's out of any sort of, like, profit-minded malfeasance, you know? There are ways in which that is probably true, but I'm sure there's somebody who, like, has the information necessary to point out, no, unfortunately, here's the actual truth. But Valve could have screwed the pooch countless times over the years. And apart from some weird, like, business decisions, well, I still want physical books despite how much of a pain they are to transport. Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Why I still want physical books despite how much of a pain they are to transport. Yeah, because, like, I have a ton of games, some of which are nearing their expiration date. CD technology only has about a shelf life of about 20 to 30 years, if you're lucky. And I have some games that I've had since I was a kid. And within 10 years, those are going to be unusable, most likely. I'm hoping that's not the case, but I only buy it through Steam because the risk of everything going poof is a sunk cost 10 years in, and I don't want to sink more costs into any other storefronts. Yeah, that's a similar vibe to where I'm at. Hello, Braintree! Okay, so this is where things get a little tricky for me. We need to go to the bottom. Not going to try out the glitch because I don't have confidence I can pull it off. I'll study it for later, but otherwise, I'm just going to chill for now. basically all of the collection that we do for this puzzle, the reminiscing puzzle, we don't have to do with the glitch. Just not at all. We just skip straight to the bar and go like almost right up to the boss, the room, the walls. And I don't know how to do that. Okay, where am I going? I am going the opposite direction. Wee. Bullets. No. First aid kit. Very important. Oh my god, I'm actually stuck. Yeah, the Shonen Jump app is genuinely very nice. Like, for me, the cheapness of the Shonen Jump app is what really sells it, because if it goes away in a second, I don't feel like I've lost anything huge other than a really nice archive. Because I'm not, like, pouring a terrible amount of currency into something that will feel inaccessible. Like, I got a nice collection of stuff for balls cheap. But that's always been kind of Shonen Jump's philosophy, is that it's like it's a cheap thing. It is very affordable. And that makes a lot of the growing pains of being digital a little easier to swallow. And frankly, I'm going to be honest, no streaming service should be more than $2 or $3 a pop. Like, per month. Like, cool, monthly subscriptions, fine. It shouldn't cost you more than $15 a year. It really shouldn't. Yeah, like, I think this has always been my hope for digital media. That a lot of media finds its way back into people's hands. Like, a good opportunity to pull out archival footage, a good opportunity to bring back stuff that isn't caught up in licensing hell. I got a random legitimate email about a job opportunity in Boca Raton. And I didn't know where the last place on earth I'd want to live was, but now I know. Okay, we accidentally passed the door. That one's a little hard to see, so that makes sense. Yeah, digital media, I was always kind of hoping that, like, the end goal was you can access everything. Everything. It's great. But instead, what we got was tiers of service with various archives that are not well curated, that can be relinquished on the second, like, on a whim, that has to constantly be checked in with a server, like, in frickin' Washington State or something, and never given any sort of room to, like, be accessed in the comfort of, like, your own space. That sentence was bullshit. I'm gonna retry. Sometimes you English too poorly and you have to stop yourself and go, no, starting over.
For this place. It looks a lot
There are
like
just too
that
many factors about digital media right now that just feels like, I mean, that genuinely are profit-minded to a consumer antagonizing degree. It is a worse version of cable. It sucks. It's kind of why I like the Roku channel, because even though stuff comes very late, it's free. And it kind of shines a light on how simple it would be if we didn't pay out the ass and we just had a way to... To be fair, they never said it would be a better alternative, right? There's the key. There's the kicker.
Oh no.
It doesn't help that a lot of
Please.
the reason why you can't access certain things is because people don't want to pay money to the people who benefit or get royalties from these products, and it's a bummer. It just kind of sucks. Okay. With that all said, we're gonna controls. Grab the cake candles, drop off the volleyball. Then we're going to go through here. Ooh, bullets. I love bullets. We need bullets. Let me grab the bullets. Thank you. Like, it's kind of funny. I use the Roku channel. Like, I have a Roku device, or more precisely, I have a TV with Roku already built in. And I kind of got weirdly nostalgic for the fact that it has, like, a ton of channels that you scroll through like cable. But they're all free, and you never know what you're going to get. And it's kind of nice. And they are often other streaming services that you can subscribe to, which is really funny, that they just offer a way to watch all of this with ads in a cable sort of way, where you have to kind of like look up the schedule in advance, say, okay, yeah, this seems like it could be fun. Like, just to kind of like surprise, like, thing to watch out of nowhere. And I don't know why I got nostalgic for that. It just seemed like really bizarre that I got into that. Oh, right, we don't need to go this way. We need to go the other way. Something special I discovered today. Oh, that's great. That's terrifying. I love it. That should not exist, and I'm so glad it does. Just absolutely terrible. I know a couple of different audiences for that, and they're not great. Eileen? You coming? Yeah, you're coming. But do they actually love milk? Nah, it's pure irony. That's all it is these days. What's wrong, Robin? What's wrong? What's wrong, you ask? Did you not drink your milk today? I haven't, I will admit. Okay, actually I did just now. I do have a nice milky coffee beverage that Lark very lovingly made for me. And it was a very tasty treat. The heart-shaped udder. Yeah. I love it too. Or is it the udder-shaped heart? I don't know, but I'm in utter disbelief. Right, now we need to move to the clock door and kill bugs that get close to us while we try to get in. Come on, Eileen. The heart has teats, that's what I'm saying. They could be chambers instead of teats. You don't know. You don't know. Get out of my way, Claudia. I'm still kind of amazed that her hair is that frickin' long, you know? Like, she bounds that shit up tight. Come on. There you are. Okay. We're good. Then we're here, and we're moving as best we can. We don't need to pick that one up. We actually have plenty of healing items somehow. I'm gonna kill this one, because that's the only one we need to kill. Eileen just needs to be near us, which is right here. We're having some good luck with Eileen right now. Oh god. Oh, Braintree's here. I hate when he teleports in like that. It's just nonsense. But thankfully, he usually only teleports the one time until we hit him. And then we're good. Okay, I don't think I need to go this way. Or do I? I forget. No, we need to go this way. Eileen will be able to follow us because it's not a door. It's treated as a soft load, which generally means she'll be able to catch up with us. Like so. Then into the bar. No, we gotta go through the wheelchairs first. Shit. Well, I guess we know that this bar is wheelchair accessible. Never mind. It's not. There's so many stairwells. Jesus Christ. We're probably going to be a little extended, so I think we have to accept that we're not going to be able to beat this whole game in a single stream unless we extend our time. So maybe next time we'll do an extra long run through. Because we're about to hit room 302 of the pass, which is the tail end. The very last bit. Okay. Then we go over here, we wait for Eileen, and we type in the code 4890. Then we haul ass downstairs. And if we're incredibly lucky, we can do this next boss super quick. Everyone say thank you to Sabrina for puking on the hardwood floor, not the carpet. Thank you, Sabrina. I love it when cats start figuring out, oh yeah, I can't puke on that. Or they find something on the carpet that they feel like they can safely puke on, like a towel or like a piece of paper or something. Sometimes it goes through their head. They start horking and they look for a thing that won't get them in trouble for horking on. I don't know why cats ever think about that, but they do. Okay, I wasted a bullet. Which is fine, I'm not even mad about it.
Don't go too fast.
She's still doing pretty well, Eileen. Like, she hasn't baby talked us at all, despite the fact that we have left her behind so freaking much. We just have not cared about her well-being in the slightest. That and nope. That's not it. Dang it. Ah, get up. No, don't leave. Dang it. God, they are so fast with that. Alright, come on down. Come on. Come on, punk. Let me get you. Let me hit you with my big pointy stick. Oh, come on. I would park myself at the one place where it's not coming down fast enough. That was rude. I was aiming at this one, and I was hitting the one behind me. Okay, neither of these guys are it. That's fine. How about you? Dang it. Ugh. This is definitely the funnest boss. That's not it. Neither is that. Okay. Come on, don't tilt me. Dang it. You're tilting me. Do not tilt me. Yes, there we go. Okay, if we don't let our weapon charge up, we should be able to just, like, knock our way through this. Like, you just gotta find the one. Then you're good. Come on. Come on, take your beating. Oh, that's rude. There we go. Very rude. Get back here. Jerk? Oh my god, this boss. Almost there. There we go. Then we're running. And hauling ass down. So we're going to get started on the back half of the game, but I think we'll probably stop before we get our third ending, which I'm a little aggravated about, but I think we can pass through that and watch the credits tomorrow and make our way through a majority of the game and use our fourth playthrough as an attempt to figure out the glitch. Because if we can do that, I bet you we can beat the game under time. It's just that I have some chores to go drive around for tonight, and I would like to handle those in a reasonable time frame. Man, if that's the worst thing you got going on, you're doing fine. I always try to, like, get a nice, clean end to these streams. Like, I pride myself on that a bit. And I've done pretty well. Like, I have, like, a decent consistency so far. Certainly a hell of a lot better than it could be. But sometimes I have to accept defeat. Then we go into the bedroom. Pick up the 4 or 5 memos here. Plot critical trash. And, like, the thing is, we could actually just go and beat the game. It's just Very tight window. I hate that. But it does mean that we'll be able to like test things out next time. I'm going to do a little studying to make sure we can get this done. Because I think it'd be a lot of fun to be able to pull this off. Grab this. Go into hole. By Eileen. We might be able to get rid of a few more possessions. Because the goal is to get rid of most, like a majority of the possessions that you get in the room in order to qualify for 2 of the endings. Which, so far, we seem to be doing pretty well. There we go. That's actually great. So let's pick these up. Let's grab this. No, this. There we go. This should have the... We should now have access to the Keys of Liberation. I don't think there's anything else in here. Let's see. Let's deposit this. This is a good amount. And let's drop this here. There we go. And I think that will stop us for now. When we get back next time, we'll have to use the Pick of Destiny. I mean the Pick of Hope. To tear down that wall. And get ourselves started with our final playthrough. Hell yes. We have depossessed. So, we're going to stop here for now. Thank you all for coming. We'll be back tomorrow to finish off our 3rd ending and get as far into our 4th and final playthrough as humanly possible. Because what I'm hoping for is that we can finish either on Thursday or... Let's think about doing an extra long episode tomorrow. Let's do that. Let's do it big so that we have Thursday to play Adios. Let's see what we can do there. So our typical housekeeping is VODs available for 60 days after initial airing, completely free. There are follower and subscriber exclusive emotes, including the Hi Debbie emote, so you can say hi to my frickin' mom. And if you have Amazon Prime, you have Prime Gaming, which means you have a free sub every month to gift to any streamer or any chatter you want. And it does not stack, so make sure you use it. Anyway, for now, I've been Robin at Andrew Jack without a C and will continue to be so for the foreseeable future. We are going to be back again tomorrow, Tuesday, December 20th. Thank you all for coming. Get hydrated, get vaccinated, get masked up, be good, be safe, be awesome, and wait, I need to get my music going. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Ah, that's kind of nice. Be gone. Bye.